Good day, children. So, previously we had seen in this lesson, INDIGO, that the judge, he left Gandhiji free and he told him that he won't be giving the judgment for several days. So, he was left at liberty, he was free. And Gandhiji, in the meanwhile, he had called Rajendra Prasad and told him to come over there with his friends, influential friends. So, Brij Kishore Babu, Maulana Mazharul Haq and other prominent lawyers, they came from Bihar with Rajendra Prasad. And they all met Gandhiji. And then Gandhiji asked them, ki what will happen if he was sentenced to prison, means he was caught and he was arrested and put behind the bars. So the senior lawyer, he said, what we'll do? We will not do anything. We will go away from here because nobody will be there to give us advice what we have to do or not. So it's better we'll go home. So Gandhiji said to them, the injustice to the sharecroppers, what will happen to it? What injustice that is being done on the sharecroppers? Who is going to relieve them of that? So the lawyers, they decided and they consulted Rajendra Prasad, and then they thought among themselves that Gandhi was totally a stranger. Then when they decided among themselves and they said to each other that Gandhiji was stranger, he came from other place traveling and he has come over here for the good cause of the sharecroppers. So why should we leave? We are the residents of this place only. So we will stay back and we will help him in his work that he want to relieve the sharecroppers from the clutches of the Britishers. So they went back to Gandhi and told him that they are ready to go to jail behind him. After he is arrested, if they want, then they will also be arrested. So Gandhiji took a piece of paper, he divided it to different groups, and then he wrote the names of two judges, two lawyers in that. He made pairs of the people and then he said, after me, you all, one after the other, you come for the arrest. Several days later, after many days, Gandhi received a written communication from the magistrate informing him that Lieutenant Governor had ordered the case to be dropped. So a letter came to him, and in that letter it was said that the Lieutenant Governor, he says, he wants to say that this matter should be dismissed, it should be abolished. And civil disobedience had triumphed the first time in modern India. So this way, the civil disobedience, not listening to obedience, not abiding by the rules and regulations of the Britishers. So this was the first step that he took in India. Gandhi and the lawyers were now proceeded to conduct a full, fair-flung inquiry into the grievances of the farmers. So Gandhi and his people, means Rajendra Prasad and his friends, companions, they wanted to know more about the difficulties and the problems of the farmers. So 10,000 peasants were written down and notes made on other evidence. So 10,000 peasants, they wrote and gave, and whatever they told, everything was noted down, and then the other evidence were also found. Documents were collected. Then whole area was working. The farmers were also vigilant and the investigation was going on, and all the farmers, they were protesting the landlords. They told them that we are not going to work according to your orders. So in June, Gandhi summoned was summoned to Sir Edward Gate, the Lieutenant Governor. So at that time, Lieutenant Governor was Sir Edward Gate. So he called Mahatma Gandhi in June. Before he went, he met leading associates and again laid detailed plans of civil disobedience if he should not return. So before going, he called the people and he spoke to them that if anything happens, if I will not return, if something happens to me, if they arrest me, then you all have to work. All the programs were made after that, and then Gandhiji had interview with the Lieutenant Governor and the inquiry was there. An official commission was appointed for the inquiry of the sharecroppers. Commission consisted of landlords, government officials and Gandhi as the sole representatives of the peasants. So more people of the British and only Gandhi from the Indian side was appointed. Gandhi remained in Champaran for an initial uninterrupted period of 7 months. So for continuous 7 months, Gandhiji stayed in Champaran. And then between he used to go for short visit to other places. The visit undertaken casually on the entreaty of unlettered peasants in the expectation that it would last a few days, occupied almost a year of Gandhi's life. So Gandhiji thought that it might take few days, but it took whole year for Gandhiji to solve the problem of Champaran. The official inquiry assembled a crushing mountain of evidence against the big planters. Now they collected evidences against the planters, and when they saw this, they agreed to principle to make refunds to the peasants. And then it was seen that they were ready to refund the money. So Gandhi asked them, how much will you pay? So they said, we'll pay only little bit, we are not going to pay much. So Gandhi said, you pay 50%. And then Reverend J.Z. Hodge, a British missionary in Champaran, who observed the entire episode at close range, and he wrote that Gandhiji was adamant and he wanted them to pay 50% of what they had taken, and then the planters, they did not give 50%, they said we'll be giving you 25%. And Gandhiji, he said, alright, you can pay 25% of whatever you have taken. This settlement was adopted unanimously by commission. So the commission accepted this. Gandhi explained that the amount of refund was less important than the fact that the landlords were they surrendered themselves to give the part of money and the prestige. If there was prestige issue, they wouldn't have given the money, but they gave 25%, and Gandhiji was very happy that at last he has won the battle. He made them put down their foot, put down their head in front of him. As far as the peasants were concerned, the planters had behaved as lords before the law. And previously, all the landlords, they worked above the law. Now the peasants saw that he had rights and defenders. He learned courage. So the peasants of Champaran, now they understood that they will not fear the Britishers, and they all got courage to go against the British officials. And within few years, the British planters went away from there, and the peasants and the indigo sharecropping also disappeared. Now, Gandhiji was not at all satisfied with this, because the political and economic condition of that place was very bad. The cultural and social backwardness was there in Champaran, and he wanted to work for the people. He wanted to bring people to higher level. So he asked people to come and help him. So one of the teacher, Madhav Desai, Narhari Parekh, these were the two young men. They joined Gandhiji, and their wives also, they came forward to help him. And many people from Bombay, Pune and other districts, they came to help. Now Devdas, who was Gandhiji's youngest son, he arrived from ashram, and Mrs. Gandhi also came. Then they opened primary schools in 6 villages, and Kasturbai, she taught the ashram rules to people about cleanliness, communication, community sanitation, and health condition was very bad. Gandhiji brought doctor, and he worked over there for 6 months. 3 medicines were available. Prominent medicines were there: castor oil, quinine and sulfur ointment. Anybody whose tongue was coated was given a dose of castor oil. So when you go to the doctor asks you to open your mouth, show your tongue. And by showing your tongue, the doctor comes to know how is your stomach. And if your stomach is not good, then he gives medicine to clear your stomach. And most of the problem comes when our stomach is not proper. So the dose of castor oil was given to that person, and the person who have got malaria, they were given quinine plus castor oil. And if something there, or skin disease was there, then the ointment, sulfur ointment was given, and castor oil. So castor oil was a must with all the medicines. Now Gandhiji saw that the women were wearing dirty clothes. So he told his wife, you go and talk to them. So she went to one of the lady, she took her in the hut, and she said, we don't have any box, neither we have the cupboard, and so we have got only one clothes. This sari that I am wearing, I wash half the portion, then I wear that, and then I wash the other half. And I don't have any other clothes. So Gandhiji stayed there for a longer time, and he wanted to keep watch on them, and from that place only he kept a watch in the ashram, and he used to send mails and financial accounts, and he asked them to send them the money, and all the instructions were given from here to the people living in the ashram. And Champaran episode, the episode that took place over here, it was a turning point in Gandhi's life. And he said, what I did was very ordinary thing. So whatever I did in Champaran is an ordinary thing, and declared that British could not order me about my own country. And he said, within my country, where I am the citizen, I am the person of this state, this country, so the person, the outsider, he cannot order me what I have to do and what I should not do. So Champaran did not begin as an act of defiance. It grew out of an attempt to alleviate the distress of large number of poor peasants. So it was not the thing that he taught the people about defiance, but he taught the people how to keep themselves away from problems, the distress, health problem, economic problem, cultural problems. All those things he taught them to drive away from them. This was a typical Gandhi pattern. His politics were intertwined with the practical, day-to-day problems of the millions. So what he did, the politics that he used, that politics was connected, was mingled with the state of the people that they were living over there and the day-to-day problems that they were facing. His was not a loyalty in abstraction, it was the loyalty to living and human beings. So his loyalty was not abstraction, it was not of the showing off. It was for the human beings. In everything Gandhi did, he tried to mold a new free Indian. So whatever way he worked, he tried to make a new Indian so that he could stand on its feet and make India free. Until and unless each one of us are standing on our own feet, we are not going to be free. So he told the people that you will have to stand on your own feet, you have to be courageous, then only you will make India free. Early in Champaran action, Charles Freer Andrews, the English pacifist who had become a devoted follower of Mahatma Gandhi, so one of the Englishmen, his name was Charles Freer Andrews. He was looking at Gandhi's working and he became the follower of Gandhiji. So before going to Fiji Island, he came to say goodbye to Gandhiji. So one of the friends of Gandhiji, he said to Gandhiji, why not we'll make Andrews stay back in Champaran and help the people over here. And Andrews was willing if Gandhi agreed. But Gandhiji said no. How can we ask an Englishman, outsider, to help the Indian people? So it is we that we have to help the Indian people. And if we ask the foreigner to help our Indians, then it will show our weakness, that we are weak people. The cause is just and you must rely upon yourself to win the battle. So you should not depend on the other person. You should have determination, courage and faith in yourself to win a battle. You should not seek a prop in Mr. Andrews because he happens to be an Englishman. So we should not take him as a prop. When you do PT, when you do dance, you have got different props to make it more mesmerizing and attractive. So here Gandhiji said we shouldn't use Andrews as a prop because he is an Englishman. He had read our minds correctly. So Rajan Prasad, he commented on this that Gandhiji has read our minds and we had no reply. And he could not reply to him. Gandhi in this way taught us a lesson of self-reliance. So one of the most thing that Gandhiji taught them, most important thing that Gandhi taught them was the self-reliance. We should rely on ourselves. We should not rely on the other people. Self-reliance, Indian independence and help to sharecropper were all bound together. So in this lesson we see that self-reliance, Indian independence and help of the sharecroppers, all the three were connected to each other. So I think you must have understood. And this about Champaran people, about Indigo sharecroppers, you have already studied in class 10th history. I know you all don't remember whatever you have read in that, but if you think over it, you have read about Gandhiji's working in Champaran, but more detail is given in this. So I think you have understood, and good luck children, goodbye.